every newspaper, every interview. How do you feel about that? Do you reckon your parents are ashamed of you? Do you regret? No, I don't.
They're obsessing over a relationship with people that they are never going to meet.
Caroline Flack has died.
The 40-year-old was today found dead at her home in East London.
My phone was going crazy. I couldn't really read anything because the notifications are moving so quickly. My address was posted online, which was like probably the main thing.
I got slut shamed since the age of, I don't know what, 16. So to go in there and then leave Love Island and still face the same issues I was facing at 16.
The former Love Island presenter has become the third death connected with the ITV show in the last 20 months.
Couldn't believe it that the Mail had pictures of her flat in Stoke Newington. I just think it's absolutely unacceptable. They're ghouls, they're just ambulance chasers.
The public have been watching your every move.
Her family's lawyer has confirmed that she took her own life.
We've laughed with you, we've cried with you, but most of all, we've fallen in love with you.
This is a story about the convergence point of tabloid media, reality TV and digital culture. 2 contestants and now the host of Love Island have killed themselves within the space of 20 months. Is the toxic conversation and reporting around reality TV stars anything new? Why does it provoke the mob on social media? And how responsible are we as an audience for what's happening? I met Megan Barton-Hanson, former Love Island contestant turned influencer with 2 million odd Instagram followers, to find out what it's like to be so intensely in the public eye.
When you see it on TV, it looks absolutely amazing. Who wouldn't want a free holiday, the opportunity to fall in love, doing these amazing challenges? Like, the whole thing seems idyllic. And it was, and I don't regret a second of it, but there's so much that people don't see. So the anxiety and the build-up and the pressure before, obviously I went on season 5, I think. There was a few of them before. So the standard's already set, and you see how someone's come from being absolutely anyone that you wouldn't look at twice in the supermarket to like every single move is under a microscope. And we're not naive. We know the perks. We know that we can come out and have this massive platform. And then when I left, I got taken into like a room with an ITV media guy, and he was like, right, because I got to the final, so before we all left, he took me and he was like, right, so this is this story that's come out, this story that's come out, this, and I was like, oh, I was on cloud 9. We got to the final, I was in love, I was so happy, and then all of these horrible stories, and I was like, Wes, can we just stay here? I don't want to go. Can we just stay on Love Island forever?
Give me a kiss.
I'll give you a kiss. A kiss?
Yeah, if you fancy me.
Oh, don't you start with things like that.
If you read all the stories that have been written about you whilst you're in there, what did you have like the strongest reaction to?
So obviously my past has been very colourful. Like, I've worked in the sex industry, I've stripped, I've done webcam, I've glamour modelled. So all of that I kind of expected, and I was aware and I prepared myself mentally for that. It was the way I looked and the fact that people were trolling me and bullying me when I was a 14-year-old girl. I just think, how you wouldn't see a 14-year-old walk down the street and be like, oh my God, look at that. But just because I've put myself out there to make a better life for myself, to get out of the sex industry, I'm then penalised for the way I looked at 14. I just think that's disgusting.
Are you talking about the coverage of like your surgery? Is that what you're referring to when you saw that picture of you as a teenage girl? Could you explain sort of what led you to have surgery in the first place?
So I was bullied at school from a young girl, like year 6 probably it started, and like I had really sticky out ears, and I think every young girl's insecure. Even everybody's insecure at that age. It's the most awkward time of your life. Teenage years are just horrendous, aren't they? You like overthink everything. Kids can be so cruel. For me, I made that choice for me. So the media, they shouldn't have covered it. They shouldn't have, but I don't even know if that was. It was either a journalist who'd gone and dug that out, or it was someone I went to school with who is bitter. And I think that reflects more on them than me as a person. Because the only reason either the journalist or the person I went to school with has leaked that is to put me down and shame me. So it reflects more on them than me. There's been so many reality shows, like you said, but the only difference is people didn't have the platform to go and be... No one has to face up to the comments they make. So you can make an account within an hour and then you can say whatever you want. And I know people who have got good jobs, who have got a fulfilled life, but for their form of entertainment, they make an account and will go out and troll people as a form of fun. So it's that. When Big Brother existed, Instagram wasn't big. People didn't have this like screen to hide behind and go and troll people. But now the two have like collided. So Love Island is huge. It's all the papers are talking about. It's all everyone's talking about. But at the same time, Instagram has grown. So it's just a terrible time for both of them to collide, literally.
Obviously, there's a duty of care for the broadcasters who transmit every single moment of these people's lives, and the newspapers who subsequently tear them apart need to consider their actions. But a new part of this phenomenon is the mob, who simultaneously feel ownership of the TV celebrities, but also the show and its format. Marid Parry is a journalist. She's written a lot about Love Island, but was forced to delete all of her social media accounts when the show's militant fan base took issue with her writing.
So tell me what happened to you, Marid.
So basically what happened, I wrote an article about Love Island, like I do. It's my job too. It's just part of a normal day for us, nothing big. Wrote it based off a press release. You know, you take the information in that's what's going to happen tonight. Write it up, not a big deal. Fast forward 2 weeks, the article was picked to go on the show and be shown in a game to the Islanders. It was taken a bit out of context, but it didn't really bother me at the time. Then the tweets and the abuse started coming when the fans got a hold of it, and obviously reality TV show fans can be a little bit intense at times, you know, intense. Just, you know, the classics, go kill yourself, die in a hole, I'm gonna come grab you, I'm gonna jump you, slit your throat. It was disgusting, like, but most of them are coming from accounts with like no pictures or pictures of cartoons, people hiding behind like some sort of avatar. It was disgusting, but yeah, as a journalist, it's kind of a part of your job, but I've never had it to that degree. It was mad. You're a cunt. Smackhead for doing that to Finn, you bitch. You're a prick, I hate you. You're a tramp. The height of your career is a lie. Well done, hope your mum's proud. I deleted my accounts after like 24 hours of it being up. Like, at first I thought I can take this. It's, you know, I just muted all my notifications from anyone I wasn't following, so I wasn't getting really anything through, but I could still see them and the DMs were still coming through. So then I made a decision to delete them all, everything, like my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter, and even my LinkedIn. I was scared that people would be going through like my job history and like getting in touch with like colleagues, or, you know, people really starting to meddle in my life, or I don't know, I was just scared of what could happen, so I just got rid of like all of my main social media accounts and any sort of link to me, so people couldn't get me. My address was posted online, which was like probably the main thing. Yeah, which was mad. I saw it when my phone was going crazy. I couldn't really read anything because the notifications are moving so quickly. But I remember seeing a screenshot of that, and I was like, what the hell? And yeah, I just couldn't believe that was there. No, I reported it and stuff, and it got taken down within a couple of hours. But still, yeah, that was probably the worst part of it. The death threats and everything is horrendous, but having your address on there is a bit another level.
Is there something, do you think there's something specific about Love Island that makes people behave in this way? Because there are reality TV shows before, right? Or is it the fact that Love Island exists in a world that social media also exists in?
As fans, isn't it? It's like die-hard fans of reality TV shows do not understand how the media work. They love to watch a show, they think they know these people, but in reality they're obsessing over a relationship of people that they are never going to meet. They don't know them, they're never going to meet them. Maybe they will in a meet and greet, well done, but they're not their friends, you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous that people get so invested, but that's kind of how it works. And I think a show like Love Island has just become this massive thing now. It's become so big, so powerful in terms of its followers that those people on the show could do anything and people would worship them. Do you know what I mean? They could say that they've killed a family member and they'd be like, yeah, you're great, well done you. Like, that's the kind of culture that I think is becoming, and it's dangerous. So social media is obviously hand in hand with Love Island. When I watch it, and when everyone really watches it, they like having an opinion on it, and if they've got no one to talk to about that opinion, you go onto Twitter, you go onto Instagram to see what the memes are. You discuss it with other people, and when they latch onto something that's, you know, bad happening on, everyone kind of likes egging each other on to jump onto the bandwagon, and that plays a huge part in the trolling and any hate that people get. Because everyone loves to hate the same person or hate the same thing, but it's passed in a few hours. They're on to hating or loving the next thing. But they don't seem to think about the damage that that little moment of hatred does to the people that are getting it.
Finally, do you think you'll carry on watching the show?
I don't know if there's some sort of responsibility to ensure that this hatred stops. And in cases like what happened to me, that's actually been fueled by the show as well. It wasn't just a part of the show, they deliberately caused drama which fuels hate. And I feel like that's all, the way it's run, the way it's structured, that all needs to massively change if the show needs to carry on. And the people watching it, if they really do want to stand up for, the deaths and the hate and the trolling, then they should stop watching it.
Married Story illustrates that the relationship between the media, celebrities and the public is not as simplistic or singular in direction as some would have you believe. There's an incredible sadness in the fact that it's taken the suicide of the show's presenter for its audience to #be kind to one another. How responsible are we as viewers? If there wasn't such an insatiable appetite for Love Island, stories about it and its former contestants, would any of these problems exist? Death by media has existed for decades. It prompts a few days of soul-searching, but then, what changes? We continue to read the scandals. We get excited for the winter version of Love Island. We love to hate someone and say mean things when they appear on the telly. Social media weaponizes this worst part of ourselves. It combines perceived ownership over a personal character and the ability to send abuse direct to their pocket. Influencer Megan Ellaby has stopped vlogging on YouTube, where she has nearly 100,000 subscribers, describing it as the most negative space out there for me. Another influencer, Clemmy Hooper, better known by her pseudonym Mother of Daughters, deleted all of her social media accounts after having been found creating fake ones to abuse and troll her own family bloggers, even her own husband. There are rules for how broadcasters and newspapers can behave, but they don't currently extend to the digital realm. Tracy Brabin is the Shadow Culture Secretary and formerly an actress in Coronation Street.
Yeah, come in. Do you want a cup of tea?
I would love one.
Great stuff. How do you take it, love?
I met with her to talk about the problem.
Tea, there you go.
Cheers, Tracy. We're talking for sad reasons, really. And it just needs to be said, I think, initially, Caroline Flack, very sadly, took her own life. It's a reason to have a conversation about how we treat people in the public eye and how our media in particular treat people in the public eye.
Obviously, she had her own issues, and we don't know what those are, but the way in which she had been treated by the press, I think was unfair and actually unacceptable, because what came out of Leveson is that we would be able to get self-regulation, and that what had happened with all the phone hacking and Millie Dowler and all of that would now be parked. There would be a whole new regime, but it seems like just things have continued in, and certainly, front pages of her bedroom with blood. I mean, we don't know if they're real images or not, but really, do we want to see those? And also, this week, I couldn't believe it, that the Mail had pictures of her flat in Stoke Newington. I just think it's absolutely unacceptable. They're ghouls, they're just ambulance chasers. We must have a duty of care that it goes beyond the online platforms, but into newspapers as well, because I do think she was picked out specifically as media sort of fodder. As legislators, it's our job to make sure that just because of good fortune that you've become a public figure, that then it's not open season on your life. There should be some expectation of some element of a private life.
Is there an element of, okay, maybe not that someone's fair game, but that some level of reporting is justified, that some level of covering that person's life is justified because they volunteered it, they want it themselves?
Well, the experience that I've had when I was, I suppose, the most famous I've ever been, because as an actor, you're famous, you're not, you're famous, you're not, and it's that roller coaster.
More famous than Shadow Secretary of State.
Well, who knows? But the paparazzi following you in cars and you feeling slightly, uncomfortable with that. People touching you and talking to you as if they know you and that they have access to you, even if you're in a family situation. I think that does come to some degree with the job.
What stage of your career was that?
But that was when I was in Coronation Street. Now, I've often said to the young actors who came into the show, because I was there for a wee while, just 3 years, that they believed that the fame was theirs, but actually it's not, it's the show. The show is the famous thing, and when you leave the show, you're not necessarily going to be that famous anymore. Social media adds to shame, And I think shaming people in the public eye, it's very hard to live with shame. And social media and trolls shaming people, then that gets picked up by the press, and then it's sort of this circle that spins out of your control. I think that's what's really difficult, is that you have nowhere to go. Where do you go? Who do you ring? The question is, how do we make sure that it's enshrined in law, that if you are in this situation, you have some opportunity for comeback? And that's why the Online Harms White Paper is absolutely pivotal in tackling this and moving that conversation centre stage. Because if you're not culpable and it's your platform, if the newspaper editors aren't personally culpable, then everybody can just get away with anything. I think we need to look again at not necessarily Leveson 2, but some sort of inquiry into the obligations of the platforms, but also of the press. It can't be that you can have a different legislation to online platforms, because actually the two are now almost interchangeable.
Would you go on the show again?
I would, and I would have exactly the same views, and I would be myself. I wouldn't filter myself. I would own the fact that I'm a sexual person, that I was a stripper. I'd do that strip dance again, and I'll do it 10 times as bad. Literally. No, I just think I've got to own it, and everybody, that's the thing as well with social media, everybody's going to have an opinion. For the amount of negative comments I get about 10 negative and I get 5 good, and they outweigh so much. And it means so much to me that people have gone through my experiences, and I'm helping even one person for all the shaming and all the trolling I get if I spoke out about mental health. And I think it makes it more real, because it's not like, oh, that was an old phase for me, because I'm continually getting these nasty comments. It's still, I could easily have a down day, and then it just takes a few comments, nasty comments, to make me go back to the person I was when I was depressed. Like, we're human at the end of the day.
Following her death, Caroline Flack's family released an unpublished Instagram post. In it, Caroline said, "I've been having some sort of emotional breakdown for a very long time. The reason I'm talking today is because my family can't take any more. I've lost my job, my home, my ability to speak, and the truth has been taken out of my hands and used as entertainment.